Now we are going to discuss polyatomic ions. Polyatomic ions are covalently bonded groups of atoms which have an overall charge of positive or negative. An example of a polyatomic ion is the SO4 2 minus ion. We can see that we have one sulfur atom which is connected to four oxygen atoms, and they carry a negative 2 charge outside of the compound. This is how a polyatomic ion looks like. There are some polyatomic ions you should know about. First, hydroxide ion has a chemical formula OH minus. A carbonate ion has a chemical formula which is CO3 2 minus. Nitrate ion has a chemical formula which is NO3 minus. And sulfate ion is SO4 2 minus. The sulfite ion is SO3 2 minus, and finally the ammonium ion, which is NH4 plus. Now, let's see what is the chemical formula of sodium hydroxide. Let's discuss it together. As we know that sodium is in group 1, it will always give Na plus ion. And we know that the hydroxide ion is OH minus. Na plus will give out Na plus ion, and OH minus will always give OH minus ion. If we're gonna look at the charges, plus 1 from the Na and the minus 1 from the OH will cancel each other to give us a total charge of 0. So the chemical formula of sodium hydroxide will be NaOH. Now, what is the chemical formula of magnesium hydroxide? Magnesium, as it's in group 2, it will always give Mg2 plus, and we know that hydroxide is again OH minus. Mg2 plus will give the ion Mg2 plus, and OH minus will give the ion OH minus. Let's calculate out the charges. Plus 2 minus 1 will give us plus 1. We need one more OH minus ion in order to cancel the plus 2 charge carried by the magnesium ion. So we add one more OH minus. Now the two OH minus ions will cancel out the plus 2 charge carried by the Mg ion. Now the chemical formula of magnesium hydroxide will be MgOH2. And be careful here, you can never write MgOH2 like that. You should always put the OH in brackets and write a small 2 outside of the brackets. What is the chemical formula of magnesium carbonate? Again, magnesium is in group 2. It will always give the ion Mg2 plus, and we know carbonate is CO3 2 minus. Mg2 plus will give Mg2 plus ion, and CO3 2 minus will give the CO3 2 minus ion. If we calculate out the charges, the plus 2 will cancel with the minus 2 and will give us a total charge of 0. So the chemical formula of magnesium carbonate is MgCO3. Let's do another example. Lithium carbonate. We know that lithium is in group 1, so it will give us Li plus ion, and we know the carbonate is CO3 2 minus. Lithium plus will give lithium plus ion, and CO3 2 minus will give us the CO3 2 minus ion. Now, let's calculate out the charges. Plus 1 from lithium, minus 2 from the carbonate, they will give us minus 1 charge. So we need one more lithium ion in order to cancel out the minus 2 charge carried by the carbonate. So we have to add one lithium ion. Now we can cancel out the charges and it will give us a neutral ionic compound. So the chemical formula of lithium carbonate is lithium 2CO3. Another example, calcium nitrate. Calcium is in group 2, so it will give the Ca2 plus ion. Nitrate, we know it is NO3 minus. Ca2 plus will always give Ca2 plus ion, and NO3 minus will always give NO3 minus ion. Plus 2 minus 1 is plus 1. So we need one more nitrate ion to cancel out the Ca2 plus. Now, the chemical formula of calcium nitrate is CaNO3 Keep in mind, we should always put brackets outside of NO3 and write the small 2 outside of the bracket. What is the chemical formula of sodium sulfate? Sodium will always give Na plus ion, and sulfate we know it is SO4 2 minus. Na plus ion with one SO4 2 minus, they will give us a charge of plus 1 minus 2 equals to minus 1. So we need one more Na plus ion to cancel the negative 2 charge carried by the sulfate. So we add one more Na plus ion. Now we can get a neutral ionic compound which has a chemical formula Na2SO4. What is the chemical formula of ammonium nitrate? Ammonium nitrate has the following ions. Ammonium is NH4 plus and nitrate is NO3 minus. NH4 plus and NO3 minus, their charges will cancel out and they will give the following chemical formula, NH4, NO3. And finally, ammonium sulfate. Ammonium gives the ion NH4 plus and sulfate will give the ion SO4 2 minus. One NH4 plus with one SO4 2 minus, their charges will not cancel and they will need one more NH4 plus ion, and after that they will give us a chemical formula of NH4 2SO4. You have to put the NH4 between brackets as you can see here, and then you put a small 2 outside.